Call this meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so approval of the minutes of the special board meeting dated August 27th, 2015. Everybody had a chance to read them? Any corrections, additions, subtractions?
Where are they?
Right after the agenda in our books. Oh, you don't have one?
Mm-mm.
Do you have one?
I do.
Do you have one in your book, David?
No, I just brought my book in.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I looked at them online, but.
Minutes from August 27th?
Yeah, those are the ones I wrote,
Yep.
so.
So you're probably
Yeah,
cool
I'm
with
good.
it.
Just
good?
make sure they're the same ones.
Okay.
Yep. And ones I read.
All right, well, seeing there is none, I'll be looking for a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion.
I will second.
Been properly moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the special board meeting dated August 27th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We'll move on to new business then. Motion passes. The Clear Lake School Board will meet with a representative, Mr. Fagan, of the WASB Superintendent Search Service to plan and set the calendar of dates for the hiring of a superintendent.
Okay, I have a list of about 6 things here that we need to try to accomplish at this planning meeting. One, as you mentioned, settle and improve the timeline. See if you guys did your homework and came with 3 names of people for the focus groups.
I get an incomplete.
Go through the focus group questions with the board to get your input. Same things I'll be doing with the other groups. Decide if we're going to do any essay questions on the stage 2 application. Brought copies of the contract, get that signed, and then approve the initial posting. So maybe we should start with the timeline. I know I passed out a tentative one last time, but I have a new one here.
Same dates as the tentative one, Mr. Fagan?
There's just one difference right now, and we need to probably discuss another. I have 2. I changed the first one just because I had us meeting on the 9th and you couldn't, so I changed tonight's meeting on the 10th. If we get the posting, we'll do the posting by Monday, maybe even tomorrow yet. I told the lady in the office if everything went okay tonight, I would email her the posting tomorrow and we could get it up as early as tomorrow afternoon. The focus groups, the principals might have an issue, and maybe we have a little leeway there. That 22nd is the week of homecoming for you guys.
And the FA sectional leadership here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we not only need to set the date, but we need to set times and then talk about those focus groups a little bit. So if it would work better for you, I don't have any problem moving the focus groups off of the 22nd to that week of the 28th. I would be available on that Monday or Tuesday of that week to do it. If either of those days would work in your calendar.
What's the time frame of the
Okay,
day?
now,
Yep.
we need to come up with 3 groups. One is the community group, and usually we don't do the community group until whatever you guys think, probably no earlier than 5, maybe even 6. If you have people working so that they can, get here. You think 6 is better, or?
For sure.
For sure? Okay, so we would plan community group at 6, and then we need a support staff group And then, whether we're gonna, we'll probably have an elementary, since you have two buildings, you probably have a focus group of teachers from, the elementary school, and then one from the junior, senior high school, and then a support staff that maybe can be mixed between the two buildings. So it's 4 groups altogether. Now, different districts, some districts have been able to free up teachers during the day, or support staff during the day, do one kind of right at the end of the day. Takes about 45 minutes per group. I usually leave that up to the school to decide the times for those 3 groups, and select or decide how you're gonna go about picking who's on them. Some people just put out an email and ask for volunteers. Some districts have, building leadership teams, or, they ask, I don't know if you're unionized or not. You don't have a union anymore, so some have asked their union to appoint people. So that's kind of, you can ask for volunteers, see how many you get. The only thing, you kind of want a cross-section, across grade levels. You don't want, all first grade teachers, and no upper ones or anything like that, so.
Like, for the focus group, just like, what size would be, you were thinking of focus group?
8 to 10 is
That's what I
usually
thought
the
you said
size
last time.
we'd like.
So you kind of schedule them on the hour then? You say you need about 45 minutes, have a little transition time in between?
Yeah, and I don't need much of a transition. Yeah, if you schedule them on the hour, that's fine.
That'd be an
Your building is close here, so I can get over here in 10 minutes, or easier than that, but I mean, that wouldn't be a problem that we would have to.
Well, during commute time, I don't know, if traffic jam gets a little
Traffic
tough.
jam.
Yes, from 3:30 to 1:45 is.
Yeah,
That's the only traffic jam in town.
yeah. That's true.
What group I mean, if we're not meeting with the community until 6, then you could do 1 at 3, 1 at 4, 1 at 5, but I don't know if you get people to stay.
Well, I'm just kind of mapping, I mean, even if we started a group at 3:30, that would allow school to be done. I mean, we could do one 3:30, 4:15. Would that be pushing it too much? Or if we could get a couple school groups, 5 o'clock and then 6 for the community, or I don't know, is that pushing it too much?
Will your support staff and teachers stick around to participate if it's after school?
Yeah.
Tuesday night, there's a volleyball varsity game.
Mhm.
28th is a Monday though, right?
Right.
There was a school board meeting that night, so that wouldn't work.
Well, the school board's not involved,
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
suppose.
mean,
Yeah, that's right.
as long as we had a
That's-
different place.
That's
All
true.
we need is a
Sure.
conference room or something, classroom, whatever.
Are there games, JV games that night or what?
The
C
JV
squad.
football game.
Yeah, C-Squad volleyball's away. I got my daughter's games on there, but that's gonna be every night of the week practically, Tuesday, Thursday.
Yeah, we're not gonna find out.
Yeah, JV
But
football.
these are for
Home.
people, individuals besides us.
Right, it's not you.
Yeah,
I'm asking you
yeah.
guys the questions tonight. The
Right.
principals can join in, and you guys can join in too if you want.
Are we gonna keep Wednesday nights off the table since that's traditionally been the no school activity for those focus groups, or?
We won't be involved with them at all, right?
We're,
No.
yeah, we're not, but, then it doesn't
On a Wednesday, yeah.
For the community?
involve children.
If you did the after-school times, I mean, that might be fine, because we run practices just a little early,
Right.
but still do things.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think that, but did you not say you were only
Wednesday's fine,
available?
too.
Okay.
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 So 30th is okay?
Well, or even does that keep us on the week of the 23rd? We're trying to,
The 23rd won't work. I have a staff meeting at
Okay.
3 o'clock. I'm at, so.
It's, I mean, so are the principals participate in those focus
No.
groups? So then,
It doesn't matter if you have something in the evening. You don't need to be around.
so keep it on the 22nd. We were assuming we may have had some role or one of the meetings we'd be at, but if we're not, then
No,
keep it
not on the focus
We can
groups.
keep it on the 22nd.
You're welcome to take the online survey. You're welcome to give input tonight when I ask the board, if the board doesn't have any problems with that. No, it's better off if the principals aren't there with the different groups. People usually speak more freely.
Oh, yeah,
Quite, you know, they just,
right.
people won't, because the first thing I do when I meet with them is try to put them at ease that what they say isn't gonna be attached to anybody. It's not gonna come back that Lori said this, or even that an elementary teacher said this. It's gonna be generic.
Right.
Otherwise, there's always, some people are afraid to,
Right.
you know, things might come back to it or something.
Well, and I guess that's why I was initially asking, what does that night look like for us? And we don't even have to worry about it then.
Is-
Our conflicts don't,
What's going on the 22nd for homecoming week? Anything that teachers would be involved in that
Some
might
of
be
them.
tough?
couple.
But if we get them out of the way at 3 o'clock or 3:30, then they're done, and, because they, like, what
So
is
you don't wanna
it?
start anything, when is school out?
325.
3:15 over there, 3:25 here, so. You know, if we started something at 3:30, we wouldn't need any subs. We could try to do a group,
What if you did 3:30 at the elementary?
Right.
yeah, and then 4:15 over here. I don't know, then you're cutting out your coaches, so, you know, then you'd wanna wait.
Well, are you guys gonna be the ones picking from the staff? Or you're just gonna let them pick who does it?
Well, I guess that's tonight, what,
Yeah.
Yeah, we should decide how that
yeah.
process.
But I mean, we can help with the timeline though, because we.
I mean, if you schedule it,
Day
if you
works.
schedule it later, you might get a couple coaches, but you're gonna lose some other teachers that
Yeah,
commute or
Right.
something that aren't
Yeah.
gonna stick around, so.
yeah.
You're not, I mean,
We're not gonna get,
as
we're
long
not
as
ever
you
gonna
get a
get
sample,
perfect.
that's the key.
I mean, we could get subs, but it's tough. I know at the elementary it'd be tough to just get a sub for an hour at the end of the day. We'd never get 8 or 10 of them
No.
going.
Mhm.
And you couldn't free that many people up,
Yeah.
but just by internally covering.
No.
I have a question about, because that's wrap period for the last period in high
High
school.
school. Maybe.
Any way to combine some and have the first meeting early at the high school?
You could probably get a few, but 8 to 10 would be an awful lot of rooms to come.
That's what I'm trying, I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we generally figure 20 per rep period, 20
Right.
per classroom. It'd be a whole lot of kids we're squishing down.
When you're
Mhm.
talking 8 or 10 teachers, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, okay.
6 to 8 even, I mean, 6 to 8.
I just put them all in a gym.
What about
Shut the
support
doors.
staff?
that's what will be, right? I was gonna say, it's like a spring day with a track meet and a baseball game. I think it's 6 people for reps. It's about the same deal.
What about, could you free up at 2:30 a group of support staff?
That's what I've
A
been trying to.
couple, you know, custodian, I don't know if you have a head of maintenance, somebody from the business office,
That
a
might.
couple
be-
secretaries.
That might work.
I mean, it might be
Some paras.
easier to start them
Yeah,
Right,
earlier
yeah.
and go with their group first.
2:30,
yeah.
and then have another. Then start your first teacher group at 3:30,
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
and then another teacher group at 4:15.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, teachers'
And-
day ends officially at 4. If they're interested in taking some leadership,
can
they're gonna
stay for
stick
that.
around.
Yep.
yeah,
past 4:15.
and do we necessarily need to split it between elementary and high school? If we got some coaches at the high school that want to go to the elementary?
No, I've had
one,
that before too, where somebody couldn't make one meeting and came to the other.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
It's the same focus group,
Yeah,
right?
same
Same
focus,
question, same everything.
questions. So you're talking,
Although the coaches would come to what, the 3:30 meeting, it's Thomas practice.
Well, if you had more than one, they could switch off depending upon what
Yeah.
they're coaching.
Mhm.
we're talking about the 22nd, so.
So you're talking 2:30, 3:15,
Are we on the 22nd or the 23rd?
Yeah, we're still on, we went back to the
22nd, so the original
22nd.
date.
Yep,
oh, the original date, okay.
yep.
22nd, so 2:30. I'd say 2:30, I'd say 3:30, just to get
Mhm.
the building
Okay.
cleared, and then the teachers could, and then 4:15,
Yep,
and then 6.
6. Okay.
So you said 2:30, 3:30, 4:30?
4:15 and 6.
Could we go 4:30 or not?
Four
Yeah,
thir-
well,
4:30.
It can be kind of, can put 4:15, and if it starts at 4.
Because if I got, if, I don't,
Drive to,
let's see,
Yeah,
we said 2:30, then what was the next one?
3:30.
3:30. Yeah, because if I have to go back from, depending on what buildings they are,
Mm-hmm.
You'd travel to meet them.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I wouldn't have to, your buildings are, it's after school and your buildings are close enough,
Yeah.
so you could put me in the same place and they could travel to me. Then we could go at 4:15.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have to travel, we can do 4:15. That would be fine.
Okay.
So,
So all I need from you guys then is the location I'm gonna be at. And then you decide, you know, how you wanna go about selecting. Do you wanna just put out an email and see how many you get for volunteers first? And if you get too many, then you might have to select by trying to, you know, do a lottery system. You could by just trying to make, you know, cross-section.
mhm.
The key to remind them is, even if they aren't on the focus group, we're doing the online survey as well, which is gonna be open for any community member, any staff member. And that's one thing that we need to get advertised.
the online survey?
That they know that if we're gonna keep, if we're keeping the 22nd, then I think I have down running the community survey from the 21st to the 30th. So it'd be active on your website during that time.
We could email out a school messenger
That would be good, yeah.
and put the link right on the message too. So
Mhm.
click
Yeah.
here.
It doesn't become active until that day.
We
Mm-hmm.
could wait and send it out that day.
So do you have the survey already created?
Yes. We have the survey. The office will email it
Email it to me?
email it to you,
Okay.
and then you can have somebody get it on the
Okay.
website. But, you know, staff needs to know, that'll be the easy one. But trying to get word out to the community that it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Which the paper comes out next week, I think, right? Deadline's next week. So, we could get it like in the local paper.
Yeah, that would help. Okay, so
Yep,
we're keeping that at the 22nd,
yep.
and the survey on the 21st to the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
Then the stage 2 application information will be posted by the 28th. That's more detailed information. It posts the timeline out there for the candidates. Do you want any essay questions as part of the stage 2 application? Do you want, so that what, as part of the application
Mhm.
materials, then the candidates would answer some questions. I've seen them both ways. I've seen sometimes if we don't have essay questions, we seem to get more candidates.
Mhm.
I'm not sure, you know, some people want to see a sample of their writing ability. Some people want to get a feel on a certain topic in a district. But most of those things are going to come out in interviews anyhow,
Mhm.
unless you wanted to know beforehand when you were deciding who to interview. That'd be the only advantage.
I think we probably would, wouldn't we? Be a little bit more.
I've gone back and
word.
forth 3 times, you know, just because if we ask for survey questions, then we've all got to sit and read them. We have to make sure that we're willing to do that.
You're talking
and-
survey questions or stage 2?
I'm sorry.
Stage 2 essay questions.
Essay
Okay.
questions, application questions.
I think you get a better picture of the candidate.
And I don't
with the
think so.
essays.
And we could ask 2 instead of 4.
Yeah,
Or we can ask 3, too.
yeah, a couple,
We could limit them to 2 pages per answer.
We do that anyhow.
yeah,
We're supposed to, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I forget what we say.
100
Yeah.
words or less.
yeah.
It does say something like that.
In 25
I hope so.
words, explain world peace.
Yeah.
What, do you have an idea of what kind of topic? I mean, I can come up with the questions. Do you have an area that you'd like asked about?
Are there some topics that we're going to cover that'll flesh some out maybe as we go through this process and as we go through the focus groups?
Might, we
that
can come
could-
back to that one.
And come up with them a little bit later.
I keep coming back to, you know, small school, small community, you know, some kind of question that relates
Describe
to
your experiences working in small rural
the small rural
school district or
community, you
something
know.
like that. Or what are some of the challenges?
Yeah, instead of it, because they might not have experience. but-
Right. What are some of the challenges facing small rural districts today? You know, something along those lines
Yeah.
might be one. But we can come back to that one. Okay. What about the other dates on the timeline? I moved the final round interviews from November 9th to 10th because Brad said you have a board meeting on the 9th of November. So you'd have back-to-back night meetings there. He didn't think there were any other conflicts as far as the first round of interviews.
What time do you usually do those interviews?
Usually we try to go, well, the first round will have 3 each night. We usually try to go 6, 7, and 8.
Okay.
Kind of a 45, 50-minute interview with a little time for questions from them at the end.
Mhm.
So we can go 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, but some have gone 5, 6, 7, but it's kind of up to the board when they can get here.
Yeah, Tuesdays are harder for me to get here earlier.
So we need to
which is
pick
the 10th.
3
Yeah.
days in a row. Pete, is that what we have to do?
Is that what we
Are
need?
you looking at
to
the
post
first
again?
round?
First round we have scheduled on here October 28th and 29th, 2 days in a row.
Wednesday, Thursday.
And then the second round on November 10th is just one night.
But that's the Tuesday
That's on
night
a
that you-
Tuesday though, yeah.
That's. I mean, I'm fine, I just, if I have these dates, I'll just schedule myself. I don't have any vacations or anybody coming up that I know of.
28th is a Wednesday. Let's see if I can get a sub for confirmation. I teach on Wednesdays.
Well, we can still move these dates, can't we?
Yeah,
Mr. Fagan?
that's what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, I have a, what do we have, 28th and 29th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a conflict on the 27th.
Would 29, 30 work for everyone?
30th is a Friday night, they don't go Friday nights.
Okay.
Assuming you want us at those present in some capacity?
Yeah, if we can.
At the-
Usually it's just the board, the first
Yeah,
round.
that sounds
interviews.
Okay.
Second round of interviews, then there's usually an administrative team. But the first round is usually just the board.
Okay.
Okay.
And we probably want to have the first round of interviews back-to-back nights.
Well, yeah,
Or doesn't it?
He's gonna come up and stay overnight.
Greg, I can probably
Oh.
find a sub
Okay.
Yeah.
for the 28th.
It works better if they're back-to-back, because then I stay overnight one night up here and save a day of driving.
And we're
cost.
in a groove.
Well, we gave you a blank check, just take a jet up here.
Somebody came back with a number. If I'd known that, I would have made the number
Change
higher.
that number quick.
Excuse me. I'm, I've got, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm flexible too, it doesn't matter.
So you're able to make the 28th?
I'll get a sub, I think, yes. Someone.
And do you want to go at 6, 7, and 8?
Yeah.
Both times?
Yep.
On the 10th, November 10th too? Okay. Then I think our timeline is set. The other ones are all, even though there's dates there, can be a little flexible. Not, we put site visit on there. I had, of the searches I've done, nobody's done one yet. But we put it on there in case somebody wants to do it. And it doesn't have to be November 14th, I just say completed by then. We can see how it goes. They used to be popular where people would go out to communities, but with the internet now and everything else, it seems to be used less and less.
Okay.
Okay, so nobody else sees a problem with the timeline?
I have a question about the essays. Is
Okay.
that part of stage 2?
Yes. Stage 2 is, that's when they get we put together the brochure I talked about. I showed you the one that we had for your arch enemy, Amory over here. We'll make it blue and white. It has information about the districts, enrollment, number of teachers, something about the district. It has the qualifications, something about the town, the timeline dates, like when the interviews are, so the candidates know. And then we put the essay questions on there too, that they have to submit along with their resume and everything when they submit their application. So we kind of have one essay question. When we go through the focus groups, maybe something else will jar your mind. Otherwise, I have a little time on that. I can email you some samples, and you can kind of get back to me too with some ideas. Because I don't have to have that information in for a couple of weeks. How many brought names from community groups?
How many came up with some here quickly?
Yeah.
How many came up with some here quickly at the table?
I don't care what.
I had
used to do-
several people.
I used to do my math homework and English in the class before.
I had several say, I'll see, we'll see. I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Okay.
So,
Do you want to give their names and we can send a letter and then if they come, they come, or do you want to ask others?
well, I'm gonna find out. I know I got one for sure, but
Okay.
I'd rather ask personally than send
Okay.
a letter.
Can we get those names in tomorrow?
You can get them in,
Larry?
see, the focus group's going to be the 22nd. Yeah, if you get them in tomorrow or Monday at the latest. And then I have a form, I have a letter template that I'll get to Lori that she can fill in, and it's kind of an invitation from the board, and it just gives the time and the place and stuff, so wherever you decide, let Lori know where it's gonna be held. If it's Tuesday, we don't have a board meeting, do we wanna hold them on here? Or we can't at 2:30 probably?
Student boardroom,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Board room,
that
yeah.
way you
Yep.
can fit 10 or 12 people in there.
Yep.
Yep.
It's pretty private, that'd be a good spot. Okay, so
Okay.
Monday at the latest, so she can get, because I only give them a week for them to get that out. That work for you?
Yep.
Okay. Send Lori template. And then does somebody want to mention that to the board member that's not here, please?
You want to mention that to him, Dave?
Um,
Tom?
yeah.
So we've done the timeline. We talked about the names. Essay questions we're still working on. The next item I'd like to do, and this still has to be proofread by the lady at the office, but I put together a sample initial posting based on a lot of the information Lori sent me. And it's basically, this is the first posting that goes out. It gives basic information about the district and the community, tells them how to apply and so forth. I put a start date of January 4th because January 1st is a Friday. And then there's a second and third Saturday, Sunday, so I figured that Mondays when school would be back in session. Now, I assume by running this search now, that, you know, if we have somebody by the end of November, that you may want that person to, you know, if they're available, work some with Brad, you know, through a transition in December. But an official taking over of January 4th. Is that my understanding?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And feel free if you think there's something else we should add. This is actually a little longer than most of them, but Lori sent a lot of good stuff today, so I was kind of cut and pasted. I was telling some people I got here early today, so I got directions and found your park after I went to the ball field side first, and then I had to make my way back around.
Yeah, other than just little English and grammar, right?
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
yeah. But do you think it hits the highlights of? Sounds attractive to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for the first posting, yep.
Right, and then the other one is,
Mm-hmm. You want to throw a number of students in the first sentence?
yes, there should be, and that's a good catch. How many students are there?
6.
625? $625. I will add that. That's a good catch. We always put the enrollment there. Oh, I even have, I just missed the number, didn't I? I've got district
Serving students, yeah.
I just missed the number. All right, that's okay. Any?
Yep.
All right.
And this will go out to, on the web or on your website?
It goes, we have a listing of, I don't know, it goes to all the state associations that we're connected with across the country, which is like 30 other, like Wisconsin School Board Associations in the other states. It goes to all the major universities that have administrative degree programs. It goes on the WASBA website. It is emailed, an email blast goes out to all district administrators in the state of Wisconsin. And email blast goes out for anybody who is registered with WASB as a potential candidate.
So it gets out there.
It gets out there.
Yep.
Yep. The contract needs the board president and board clerk signature. Are they both here?
Mhm.
And we need 2 copies, and then I will get them to John Ashley, he'll sign them, and then he'll send one back. When we talked about, you said you wanted an amount not to exceed, and you wanted me to check on what the AIM research cost. And I asked, and the cost of the Amory came out to about $8,200, 82 something it was. But they didn't run the focus groups, so that's an extra trip up here. And then I was also able to save a little money on Amory because I was doing the siren search. Some of the dates were the same, so I could share the cost between siren and Amory. So I put $9,500 in there, not to exceed $9,500. So I increased it a little bit more from Amory. But that should cover it.
Let's say we get through, we post it, we get 3 candidates, and then decide to go with Plan B.
It won't cost you $9,500.
Okay,
That's just not to exceed.
right,
So
okay,
we would not have either one of the 2 long nights for interviews.
Right.
So you're probably cutting it down in half almost. Oh yeah, because you're not doing the binder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be at least half probably.
yeah. And then maybe, yeah,
Which, you know, on a normal search, I tell people if we get 12 to 15 completed applications, we're doing good. You know, we got 19 at Amory on a late into the summer search. But I've never done one, you know, mid-year like this, so it's a wild card as to how many we're gonna get.
So basically, it's not to exceed the 9,500, but it's basically, you're gonna just kind of bill us out at the rates of 105 an hour,
Yep.
50 if you have an assistant, and
Right.
135, well, those rates are all in line, so.
Yep. And some of that is the, you know, the office working in the office and stuff, but we wouldn't have the background checks done or anything like that, so.
right.
You know, you have your posting cost and the focus groups, which we can use that information if
Right.
we repost later. so.
Right. We're on the same page.
Yeah. You get one of these back.
I get them both, and then John Ashley signs them both, and then he sends one of them back to you. Okay. Now the tough part. We get to ask you questions.
A, B, A, C,
It's
A,
not
B.
multiple, it's not true or false, it's not multiple
I
choice.
hope they're not essay.
Blue book.
And I guess it's up to you as to who you want to have input. You want the principal's input now as well as yours?
I think we're fairly informal.
You know,
I take all input that I can,
Heck, yeah.
what about our guests behind us?
absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys wanna?
If they're comfortable.
We're fine, we're fine.
You're fine?
They're not making faces at you. I can see.
I don't know. I'm probably blinding them with the back of my head. A little 5-year-old told me yesterday I need Miracle Grow for my right out of the blue. Let's see. General focus group questions. Okay. And there's no right or wrong answers. And it's not like school, so you don't have to raise your hand. You blurt them out. The only thing I ask is don't go too fast, because I have to try to make sense of these here. What is special or unique about the Clear Lake School District?
I think we have a very strong history in extracurricular and co-curricular offerings. And very strong with things like FFA and FCCLA and arts programs, the sports programs.
Okay,
We have excellent facilities.
what did you say?
Excellent facilities,
Excellent facility, that's definitely,
state of the art.
not everybody can say that, excellent facilities. With the, your elementary school named Gaylord A. Nelson. what's the-
Education center?
Yeah, educational center, is there some special programs with that, or was there money donated, or why is it named that, I guess? Is there some environmental programs that come with it or something?
We make a big deal out of Earth Day, obviously.
Okay.
So we do a big district-wide and community-wide, started doing that in 2008. But the junior and senior high students organize into teams with staff members to go out into the community and do community service projects throughout that day. And then the elementary school does a lot of educational activities, some of them involving high school students or community members and environmental themed, obviously. And but as far as there was no donation, or it was just, naming the
Community
building
pride.
after a famous native son, so.
Okay.
One thing about Clear Lake that makes it special, I think, in many aspects, is the fact that the culture here is set as we achieve in all the aspects, or many of the aspects in our school, we achieve higher than what we're expected to achieve. I mean, we strive to do better than what a typical Clear Lake, Wisconsin would achieve, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why some of the reviews that we've had recently are as high as they are.
Okay.
I think we offer a lot of programming for a small school. I think
Yeah,
we offer
that's
5
nice.
AP classes for a school our size with less than 200 kids in the high school. I think that's
That's what I was trying to figure out how to
feather.
formulate.
Yeah. I think we offer a lot for our size.
Okay.
We have the distance learning center, the Mr. Crawford's room,
Mhm.
how do we describe that? A dedicated,
Dedicated distance learning.
interactive, and so we tap in around the world and.
For classes.
Mhm.
I think our technology infrastructure is unique. I think I'd put it up there with any district of any size, as far as the quality
Mhm.
of our, I'm talking switches and routers and infrastructure.
Mhm.
Our density of our Wi-Fi, things like that.
What, any one-on-one initiatives?
No,
Oh, okay.
but we've been bring your own device
Oh,
since
okay.
2010 or 11. We just need to get more.
For the high school
For
or
the
just
junior and
wide?
seniors, for the junior and senior high.
Juniors.
We just need to get more kids bringing their own devices.
I think from an outsider looking in perspective, we have one of the most dedicated and devoted staff that I've ever been involved with. I mean, they're very community and student focused.
Student and community focused? And some of these questions kind of run kind of close together, so they overlap a little bit.
I think there's a unique, I think if you look at the history of our district administrator, there's a pretty unique history of longevity. Would you say the average 3 years,
5 years?
3 to 5 years for
Yeah.
Supin? I mean, you look at our history, we've had 3 superintendents since 1968, I think. That's pretty unique for,
Since 1968?
you know.
It's a good year. Graduated high school that year. A long time ago. Okay, anything else?
Our kids go here. That's why Clear Lake is special.
All right. And don't think that you have to have all the answers, because each group gets asked these, and some things will keep repeating themselves, and then other things will add up. And then I'll give you a report at the end. I'll have the questions listed. Here are the now I won't say this was named 7 times. I'll just list the, you know, I won't do the repeats. And then I will kind of summarize some general themes that come through it. What do you see as the challenges facing the district?
Funding, small rural district dependent on state funding.
We've got a,
Are you a highly aided district or
Very,
very high?
75%.
75%.
Okay. How about free and reduced percentage?
40, 30?
District-wide, just under 40%, it's usually like 38.
And the aid was what, 75%?
70 to
I think
75.
it's 70.
It's
70?
gone from
It's-
70 to 75 in the last 2
Yeah,
years, I think.
fluctuates back and forth, but it's right around 70%.
Other challenges? What about enrollment? Is it
That-
steady, growing, declining?
and
recently
down.
growing, I suppose, a little bit, but it's pretty steady, isn't it?
It's, well, it has overall declined, but stabilizing, you know.
I think we're-
So like, you have 625 district-wide now. What did you have 5 years ago?
650.
650.
Okay, so
I
it
think
isn't
when
a
we came in
huge,
the office, it was 650.
Okay.
That was in '07.
so it hasn't been a huge drop.
No.
No,
No,
but it's down from 10 years ago, when it was 670. We've been over 700, you know, in
Okay.
years past, but we've had a number of small classes, but they're actually, a lot of them are graduating, and then it's gonna, I think.
So like, what's your senior class now?
He's new.
40.
I know this one, like 47, something like that.
In the kindergarten?
Kindergarten is an anomaly. They only have 32 kids.
Okay.
But our first grade has 52. So traditionally, 50's
yeah.
been normal for Clear Lake for 40 years. I'd say now, though, normal is becoming
40.
40 to 45 is becoming normal, is what I see coming through.
What about like open enrollment and homeschooling, and, I mean, are we?
Yeah,
are we losing-
that should be, that's my next question.
We're plus in open enrollment
Plus in open enrollment? Okay.
for the last 2 years.
You know, and I'm just looking at, we talk about the funding and the new funding formulas we've got and the charter school stuff,
Yeah.
and that it hasn't
All
affected,
draining.
it hasn't affected us because we don't have some of those choices, but if,
But
you know,
yeah,
somebody come in and throw a charter school up and start sucking out of all these schools, that could be.
well,
Well,
I
like-
think that's the challenge also, is some of the transitional kind of things. Amory is looking at, a couple of new options, and
Mhm.
are those
Charter
going to be,
schools, two of them.
yeah, and are those
Mhm.
going to be draws? So some of
Right.
those are challenges, and sort of meeting the 21st century needs of students in schools right now, and making that transition.
Yeah, they've got a kids care program over there now.
Yep. And they're looking at a Montessori charter and a project-based.
Mhm.
one for next year, I think. At least that's what they said.
I think the long-term, the challenge is retention of quality staff,
Absolutely.
long-term. And
Yep.
that's like many small districts, with the way the atmosphere of post-Act 10 now, with much more movement going on. I think that's gonna be a challenge for small districts to keep good people from going and taking a job at a bigger district where they can make.
Have you run into, I mean, I'm seeing it all over, some of these hard to fill positions are, people are demanding bonuses and to stay. Have you hit that
We
yet?
haven't done that, but definitely,
Bring them in, I think we brought a couple in at a little
Higher.
extra experience, you know,
Good.
start, you know.
yeah.
Not
And
so much
definitely
a
a
bonus.
decrease in the number of applicants in the last 2-3 years. I mean, definitely marked.
Yeah, I think we're all gonna feel that
Mhm.
challenge of less teachers coming out.
Well, and having 2 part-time people in this building, less than full-time staff, hard positions to fill.
Mhm.
You guys are doing very well.
I think another challenge is gonna continually be coming up with technology that's integrated into the classroom. And, you
Yeah,
know,
staying current.
Rather than keeping up, trying to lead the way on a few things is gonna be hard. With training needs and facility needs.
Working with our village and municipalities to attract growth to our district, so that, I mean, when the bridge goes through, there's gonna be slow growth, I think, at some point out here. And
Mhm.
what's, as a community,
What's the
not just a
community
school
plan?
district, but as a community,
Mhm.
why are people gonna move to Clear Lake as opposed to Amory or somewhere else? What are we gonna do to attract people to wanna live here and build
Mhm.
here?
The big bridge,
Yeah.
Mhm.
But where
there's a
they-
couple communities in the way before they get
That's-
here.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
One other thing, though, that we've got going on is, and I don't know how to throw this out there, but we've got a community that's split right now with some of the actions that the board has taken, so there's some trust issues and some rough waters that are going on here that we are gonna eventually
Rebuilding
uh,
work through.
trust between board and community. Would that kind of
Yeah.
summarize it? Okay,
Building a bridge between the school and our employers. Things that we've talked about it, we haven't done much with it, but so some of the, you know, maybe we can tailor some of our stuff if we have kids that are on a track for working at some of our local employers, manufacturing and things.
all right. And this one can be, everybody can have a different answer here or whatever, but if you could improve one thing, you could improve one thing about the district, what would be your choice? Teachers usually save more money. No, I'm just, each group has usually, this one varies.
This has nothing, my thing pops into my head is, and it's out of the district's control, but not having to teach to the test. Let's get back to educating kids instead of teaching to our graduating test.
I see they just announced today they have a new test. See that?
I mean, we spent a lot of time focusing on our curriculum and stuff like that, and on how it's gonna get to our test results.
What was the name of it? What's it called?
Forward exam.
Right?
The forward.
Forward exam, yeah, some Minnesota company, run by a former state legislature.
I just skimmed the email, I was hoping it was gonna be the ACT Aspire.
They bid on it, but they didn't get it, I guess. What else with other people?
Comes down-
Facilities are fine,
Money.
money.
If we had more money,
More
that would fix
resource.
a lot of problems. We could pay staff more money, we could get some more staff, we could do more things.
Okay. What about from a, I mean, what about from an achievement level? Is there any particular, I mean, like are our reading scores low or math, or is there a particular program in the district that could use upgrading,
Our reading and math scores need to improve.
reading and math scores? Okay.
I'd like to see more participation in music and arts.
Music and the arts. Okay. What about community involvement? How's that?
I mean,
The
from what I
football
see,
team is 5-0, then it's pretty good.
You know,
no, from what I see, there's a lot of strong community support in a lot of different ways. I mean, I think you guys get a lot of parents in the building and helping out and
So that's not
connections
something
that way.
that really needs. Any ideas back here? You can, one thing to improve?
I'd like a new desk chair, but no.
You control the funds.
No, I don't. I guess I would like to see in all the schools more focus on getting our kids into skilled jobs versus necessarily throwing them into college. So doing something to get them into the industrial areas, I don't know what you want to call it. Job training, yeah, something more.
Yellow Pages full of those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where the jobs are, and the pay.
trades, apprenticeships, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, something.
When somewhat piggybacking off of that and what Brent said, more differentiation in the curriculum. More, particularly when we get to the high school level, more of an opportunity for students to sort of carve out their own paths. We're at a technological level right now where we can do that if we have the tools to do it in schools.
Okay. So, good points. Anything else?
Just generally make education more important. That's, you know, it's, ever since I've got on, that's, and I still don't know how to do it. I don't, you know, and I'm sure it's, you know, how do we make it more important to our clientele and their parents and the community, and
More valued.
more valued?
Rather than a burden.
I gotta do this, like,
Mhm.
you know. Guys, you're getting a $10,000 a year education. Take advantage of it.
Okay, next one. How will the district change over the next 5 years?
I'm guessing we're gonna have some slow growth. I'm thinking that like, we're all thinking the bridge might have some effect. It's not, you know, we're not gonna double, but we're gonna, hopefully we'll stabilize and,
It's about the only way you can really grow. I mean, people are
Yeah.
having less kids, so if you're
Yep.
stagnant, you're going the other way. I was in a district for 23 years where 2 of the townships, one of them, if you wanted to build, you had to buy 35 acres, the other one was 40 acres. Everybody kept saying, you know, Bangor right on I-90, 15 miles from La Crosse. Beautiful places to build out in the country, but, you know, not everybody can afford 40 acres for hunting or whatever, so. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, technology's
a
gonna.
lot of people from the cities or Chicago bought some of that land.
Yeah.
Didn't have any kids.
Right.
And I see, you know, education's gonna flip in 10 years, we're gonna be teaching completely different.
Mhm.
I don't think it'll be 10.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be completely different, and our technology's gonna be completely different, and we're struggling whether we're gonna, you know, I still remember having the conversation, do we allow cell phones and iPads in the classroom? Now it's gonna flip
Yeah.
over to be required, and
Yeah.
books are gonna go away, and.
That was a warm discussion too, the first one we had.
Mhm.
Yeah, GET last year, we went one-on-one with iPads all the way down to kindergarten.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a huge investment. I mean, it's going pretty good, but, you know, in 3 years, you know, where are you gonna get the money to re-up it? And then you
Yep.
got the tools, now you gotta educate the staff to teach a little different
Mm-hmm.
and make it a,
Mhm.
you know, how do you make it improve your test, you know, improve education, your
Mhm.
academics?
Yeah, I mean, I could really see education flipping off and, you know, going more European style where we, you know, they hit 6th grade and you're gonna go,
One track or the other.
what track you taking? You college bound, you know, work bound? And then what else are we gonna have to do in the school?
Okay. Facility-wise, 5 years, you still should be pretty good, probably.
Yeah.
You just upgraded this building and stuck a bunch in the other one.
Yeah, I don't see the bridge causing us to have to build another building.
In 5 years, we're gonna have the fruition of some of our educational, the changes that we made in the last couple of years kind of come to fruition, so
Hope so.
some of those things will come to fruition.
Mhm.
Nick will have 5 years under his belt. Our new guy will have 5 years under their belt, or 4.5. We're gonna still have people coming and going.
That turnover rate might be,
Mhm.
especially certain fields. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know, one of the things that save people a lot of money is redoing a lot of retirement plans. But that also was the thing that used to keep people, you know, in Bangor too. I figured if we had them for 7, 8 years, you had them. They weren't gonna go to La Crosse or go
That's right.
to Alaska because they were
Yep.
gonna stay for that.
You can make that.
Now it's all about who's gonna pay me more,
Mhm.
you know, so, which creates, and you have a lot of small districts around you, but, you know, Amory, New Richmond,
Mhm.
some of those could,
Well,
Yeah.
5 years from now, some of these other even smaller towns could have to make some real tough decisions about their school districts.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that could play out in a positive or negative way for us.
yeah, if you survive that, you
Mhm.
might gain.
Right. You know, Prairie Farm's been talking for how long about changes.
Any other ways you see the district changing? Okay, let's get into the superintendent. What strengths and skills should the next superintendent possess?
I wanna, oh, go ahead, Brent.
He's gonna need to be a very focused generalist. How's that?
Need to be a focused generalist?
'Cause we're small enough to where he's gotta have his fingers in everything
Okay.
and be able to focus on what he's doing, or he or she. And also be able to take, see what this small action's gonna take on the whole look, the whole picture. Because the whole shooting match falls on him. There's no committee to turn it over to.
Okay?
I think the next superintendent's gonna have to be very much a visionary for what is that next 5 years. I think we're on the cusp of a lot of potential changes, and depending on which way this pendulum swings when it comes to testing and it comes to, federal versus states controls on things. There's election coming up that's going to change things potentially a lot. We have all these demographic and population issues. We've got technology issues. And I think they're going to have to be someone who's going to have a vision that is 3 to 5 years out. Here's where I want the district to go, and how do I then be a really strong leader to bring everyone on board with that.
So a strong leader. So let me ask you this, do you want a educational leader or manager?
I want an educational leader.
I'm thinking both. I'm sorry. It needs to be both. If we're gonna get a good one. That's just my.
And I agree with Pete, because if we don't lead, we're gonna be one of the absorbed school districts.
Virtuous, that would be what I'd be looking for, is somebody that's got a lot of virtue.
Personal at every level.
What?
Personable. At
Personable?
every level of the district, students, staff, paras. Somebody who gets out and see how things are working. I'm willing to take that in. I see Brad do that every day.
It's amazing. It's an amazing skill. I've watched him
Every
since
kid knows him.
knows every kid's name in the district.
Well, he's gotta work with 2 really nice girls.
Well, he has to know who really runs the place, right?
Maybe that's why he was
Needs
out,
to know,
Put up with us,
needs
yes.
to know who the bosses are in the district office.
maybe that's why he was
He has
out in the
to be able
hallways
to-
all the time.
When we're all in our offices, we just yell at each other across, we don't leave our desk, we just yell at each other. Yeah, project.
So, and this, I'll ask it, I probably shouldn't with you sitting here. How important, because this is different in every school. How important is, you look for a leader, somebody that can manage people. How much is knowing school finance?
Yeah, I would like him to know.
How important is that? And a lot of that depends on, some districts have a excellent bookkeeper who's been here for several years. Others are in the first year of a bookkeeper. Some have a businessman, manager. So, not being that familiar. I've enjoyed working with her so far, but I haven't seen the books, so I don't. But you've been here a few years, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we would like someone who does know a little bit about finance, yes. Or can at least add and subtract and fill out those wonderful DPI
Well,
budgets.
and school
So who
budgeting.
submits all that now?
Brad
the
submits
DBI
it, but it's
form?
usually him and I doing it
Together,
kind of together, yes.
okay.
But budgeting is very important, because,
Yeah.
you talk about the
Yeah.
planning, I know and I know Brad's budgeted, this year's budget was taken care of 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's
he already
budgeting
has it.
2018, 2019 right now, that's,
Mhm.
we don't really see it, there's no numbers or anything, but you're looking at, well, we're gonna need 2 buses, we're gonna need this, we're gonna need that. These are the big costs I see coming.
You own your own buses?
Yes.
Is that part of the, is the superintendent the transportation director?
No.
You have your own? Oh, lucky. That was one of the hats I had to wear too. Okay, budgeting skills is important, especially in tight budgets,
Right.
looking for creative ways. One of the things that we as educators a lot of times get criticized for is we're always having new programs, but we never get rid of anything.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my pet peeves is we're sitting in the room. What is the circulation of these books today compared to 5 years ago? Especially in a place that just gave iPads to all their students.
Mm-hmm.
I was just an interim at GT last year, but they voted to spend almost $1 million redoing their library. And it's basically used as a place for study hall.
Mm-hmm.
The kids are in your study hall on their iPads. At some point you have to look at reallocating
Yep.
resources.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a tough discussion with staff and everybody, but
Right.
that goes into your visionary. What is the goal
Right.
3 years down the road?
Right.
Instead of just managing year by year or
Right.
type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
How about more personal things, soft skills? You did mention being personable. Imagine you want somebody trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
This might cross over from the last one to this one, but someone who was and still is a great teacher and loves that piece of it,
Yeah.
because that then translates to the staff, to the students. They still get that. Too many skills, I
And
think,
that's
sometimes
an
have a
important-
manager.
if that's what you're looking for, because you will have applicants, hopefully we have applicants.
Mm-hmm.
But, quite frankly,
Mhm.
the old stereotype superintendent was guys like me, guys that taught usually in a middle or high school, was an old coach, went up to being in most cases, a middle or high school principal, and then a superintendent. And it was predominantly male. The field now is very much more diverse. There's a lot more female superintendents. There's a lot more coming from varied backgrounds. A lot more elementary, people that used to be elementary teachers and elementary principals. There are people who didn't spend a lot of time in the classroom, who were more curriculum people. And maybe very strong in the academic areas and very helpful in pushing for increasing your reading and math scores. But then as a community, you have to know what's community. Can they relate to the community? Have they dealt with the phone calls when your football team is 0-7? Have they dealt with co-curriculars?
Nope.
Those types of things. So, and every community is different. If you're a big district and you have a lot of lieutenants,
Right.
you got somebody else doing a lot of those things. But as you said, this person's got to wear a lot of hats. So this is kind of forming the picture then, when we get all the input from the support staff, the teachers, and the community, and put it all together, then hopefully this feedback, when we go through the applications, we can say, okay, these people kind of match what people are looking for or not. So this kind of tells you why we're doing this exercise. you know, we kind of got into the next one a little bit, but again, everybody kind of feels differently. We listed some of the things we were looking for in a superintendent. What do you think is the most important part of the superintendent's job? Is it balancing, I mean, is it, some people will say, and a lot of times board members say, is keeping the district in a strong financial position.
I'm gonna
Or
go
a
back,
teacher might have a different view, but
I'm gonna go back to Peter and just say, a strong leader.
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
And the
Maybe we-
budgetary and everything else falls under that.
Maybe we've been spoiled all these years with the budgetary part that Brad's brought here, but I think that, you know, if he's not strong in his budget, I hope that maybe we could sense that and we could, you know, kind of help that part out.
well, and it's a balancing act. There are, not everybody, it's gonna be hard to find, once you get all these characteristics down, you're gonna say, there is no such person like this.
Yeah,
So, some people are gonna be strong in one area, weaker in the other. You, I mean, because the board makes the final decision, they have to decide what's the stronger need. Is it, okay, so a little weaker in, you know, I came from that area too, I was a high school principal. Going in, one of my weakest parts was the financial part. Dealing with a high school budget versus a district budget is different.
Right.
Now, I was fortunate, we had a bookkeeper who had been there 24 years. And luckily, she stayed a couple more at least until I got my feet wet, and then we could get somebody else. So depending on what you have, some of those things can be learned. Nobody, I never possessed to have all the answers. You just gotta know where to go to, who to ask, what network. So those things you can learn. Being a good person, you're not gonna change.
right.
Somebody's gonna be personable or not. Somebody's gonna be trustworthy or not. Somebody's gonna have leadership skills, you know, and some of that can be enhanced probably, but usually it's there or not.
Yeah, your personality traits are there, and, you know, strong leader, strong, humble. Yeah, I keep thinking, you know, it's, he's got to be the humblest guy in the room. If there's something wrong in the district, it's my fault, you know, it's our fault.
And one of the
It's not-
questions on the online survey is the type of leadership you're looking for. You know, is it somebody that believes in servant leadership, I'm here to serve? Is it somebody that believes more in the old style, direct leadership, you know, management type of thing? And sometimes that can be a good essay question. What is your leadership style? I might have just found one there.
Yep.
I think being a small community, a good set of values is important to us also.
Yep, definitely.
What was that?
A good set of values,
Okay.
being a small community. Not like the big city folk necessarily.
How, you know, nowadays, and this is kind of on the last question yet almost, strengths and skills, I don't know where it fits. What's your view on involvement in the community or living in the community? I mean, technically you can't require them to anymore, but most districts I've worked with want to know what their feelings are.
Well, I mean, I think if you know, follow Brad's example and you know, Chris and people who are part of this community and involved in other things, it just builds those bridges between, you know, business and community and just the people and the school. And for me, that, I don't know how you would, I think you would be a very ineffective leader if you were not embedded into the community as much as possible.
It's not a 7 to 3:30,
Right.
4:30 job. And it's one thing that if it changes, it'll be quite glaring, but if you go to any extracurricular activity, there's at least one administrator there, usually more than one.
Yep.
That's a credit to them that, that's,
And there again, as you look at the background of these people, some of them will have more experience
Mhm.
doing that. Others, it'll be completely foreign to them. Not that they can't
Right.
do that. Somebody that has
Yeah.
8 kids enrolled in the district, help the
there you go,
enrollment.
there you go.
Can we require that?
So that makes me think, you need to be able to, you said personable, but you need to be able to relate to a lot of different kinds of people in Clear Lake, You're gonna have, parents who are highly educated and, come from that perspective, and you got blue collar parents, and you got all different kinds, you need to be able to relate to every kind of parent.
And value each and every one of
Walks in the
them.
door, and value and understand and relate to, and value what they bring and what their kids bring, That's person has to have some life experiences that allow them to do that,
Okay, all good points. 3 more questions, we're done. Part of this is not only what you're looking for is, we have to attract somebody, why does somebody want to come to Clear Lake? So what are the district selling points? Now, by district, it can be the school, or it can be something like I was mentioned before, very dedicated staff, or it can be something in the community like recreation opportunities, or
You hit a lot of them in the
first one. or
yeah, well, in the posting is,
The posting, yep.
small rural district, but close to large metropolitan area, so have that ability.
Potential for growth, I think is here.
Potential for growth,
Facilities.
facilities
So
are.
walking in here to this,
are-
you've
yeah.
got to be going
Yeah, yep,
to both buildings now.
Yeah, not having to do a building referendum your first year on the job.
Yeah.
Attractive to
Yeah.
somebody.
Never having had a operating referendum either.
Never had an operating,
I
no,
don't believe so.
yeah.
and I'll just put down the recreation opportunities.
Mhm.
Nice park.
Have to deal with the Thanksgiving or / hunting holiday week. That's
You have
everybody,
school
that's
all that
every,
week?
yeah. No, we're not all week, but
No, but I mean, you,
we don't take the whole week off
you
anymore.
don't take the whole week off?
Not anymore.
Years ago.
We used to.
20 years ago.
It used to be popular up north. Shut it down.
Greg ruined that.
We got it off. Except we had to come in for
Other
basketball
things I can
practice,
get
remember that,
from-
Chris?
What's that?
We'd have to come in for basketball
Stuff that
practice.
works.
Hunting paradise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hunting paradise?
Yeah.
Yeah, if the person's a hunter.
Aren't you?
Me?
I'm talking to
Oh.
Lori. Just by her face.
I think the location, if you're looking for
Okay.
a small rural setting, but yet, it's, you're close to the Twin Cities, close to Eau Claire, close to the North Woods.
Yeah.
Location, location,
Yep,
location.
that's,
Yep.
Should be placed for some.
I mean, you're in a better spot than, say, Siren, for instance. Not to pick on Siren, I did them too, but
Mhm.
they got things up there too, but they're further away, I mean,
Mhm.
in the cities. Or
Yeah.
Eau Claire.
Yeah. Spooner's just kind of a dead spot in the middle of everything.
Who would ever have a bank in Spooner?
I don't know. There's 6 of them.
6 of them?
Yeah.
tried to stay in Spooner one night, they didn't even have a room available. On a Monday night, I think it was. I didn't think.
All three of them were taken?
Yeah. If given the opportunity, one was taken, the other one didn't look like it wanted to take. And I didn't know where the third one was. If given the opportunity, what advice would you give to a new superintendent? Let's say you've gone through the process, you hired somebody, and you had an opportunity to sit down on a one-on-one with the new superintendent, what advice would you give?
I can kind of relate to that.
But,
I can kind of relate to that.
okay.
Maybe we should give you our advice first, Nick.
Ron?
Remember why you're here, remember who you serve, who's our clients. Always in everything we do.
What were we gonna say, Nick?
Students first. Sometimes it's hard to make decisions that, and keep that in mind. Students first.
Student-driven decisions?
I guess if I would,
Parents may not know what's best for them.
yeah.
Sometimes you gotta put that kid first.
Yeah.
If I was to sit
Have
down
to
and give him some
sometimes.
advice, it would be something along the lines of something that would explain the gravity of the position that you have here and then letting them know, here you go. Let's see how you
And the
do.
opportunity.
Yeah. To somehow empower them and embolden them. Put some wind in the sails and watch them disappear over the sunset.
Okay. Anything else? Find out what kind of chocolate the girls in the office like.
Always good.
Or aren't you chocolate eaters?
Yeah.
Some like dark chocolate versus
Dove.
Dove.
Yep.
Do you want, how do I word this?
Be
There's-
approachable.
Be what?
Approachable.
Be approachable, good one. Some people say they're approachable, or some people always say, oh, I have an open door policy, and nobody will go near it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And sometimes you have to go to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like telling the community, well, I have an open door, come and see me. Sometimes you gotta have coffee downtown, or you gotta have,
Mm-hmm.
go to the, Lions Club, or join the Lions Club, or whatever. I mean, you have to go where they are.
Right.
Before they'll be comfortable to come in here. There've been a lot of changes in education. How would, you want somebody to come in and listen, observe, or do you want somebody to come in with 5 new ideas right off the bat and implement?
Yeah, we want the impossible, we want the flexible plan. Someone who, has an idea of where he wants to go, or he or she wants to go. But understand it's if he's out there pulling all by, he or she's out there pulling all by himself, they're going nowhere.
Well, if he's an effective leader too, he's gonna know how hard he can pull,
Someone with wisdom who knows the difference when, someone with wisdom is what, wisdom and judgment.
Yeah, I would want someone who has that vision for it, but within the first, month maybe, so, this kind of process like this, A good leader's gonna go in and sit down with his administrator team, but he's also gonna talk to the teachers and the parents and the community and the kids and say, asking some of these same kind of questions to them, and take all of that in, and how do you then put that together with where you think, education and the district needs to go into the future, so that you're taking in all those voices.
That just gave me an idea. We've gone through this process. This is only my 3rd year working with WASP. When we go through this process, I prepare this report with these ideas and general themes. It would make sense. You each get a copy of this in this binder. But at least I've never, I don't think as a team we've ever been told that would be a great piece of information to share with the new superintendent.
Sure would.
Because you're going through this process. Here's,
Mm-hmm.
when we hired you, this is what people told us were our strengths, were the challenges, what we were looking for in a person.
I like that.
And then we either go, this isn't me.
How'd you hire me?
But I just came to me now. I think that would be, I would think a superintendent would find that useful. What was that?
And you come back on Monday and the binder's sitting on his chair.
Yeah, I suppose it could be.
It's like Brad keeps coming to my office. He's back.
Okay, final question that we ask everybody. Any other thoughts or comments you would like to share with the board? And we get a wide range of things there. Might be increased compensation, it might be, different things, but sometimes it's, hire the best candidate. Don't let a few dollars interfere with getting your best candidate. Well, those are some samples I've got. But it's kind of a question a catch-all for people to, they've been dying to say something, but the questions then bring it out, so. But since you're getting that information, you probably don't have to answer that one. And now I better hit save before I lose it. So, does it sound like a worthwhile exercise with people now that you've gone through it yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, the key is to try to make people comfortable so they feel like sharing, and that's my job. So.
Do you ever give these questions to people before the group actually meets, so they have to because you don't want them thinking about it too much?
Yeah, we don't want canned answers.
Okay.
We want them to think off
Okay.
the cuff. We usually get a better discussion that way.
Okay.
But we get that question quite often. Can I have the questions ahead of time? But,
Okay.
And usually if you get a 6 to 10 people, this is all typical kind of size, or 8 to 10, they start feeding off each other a little bit. But you will get people in a group that, one person dominates and somebody else, don't talk too much. But then I'll sometimes kind of draw that out if I can, so.
So our 3 names have to go to you, Lori. What's your, well, I guess I can find it on the website.
It's just
Email.
lcarnick@clearlake.ky12.wi.us.
Too many dots.
Too many dots?
Too many dots.
And what do you need from me tomorrow? Anything before Monday?
I think so.
I'll get that letter.
Other than the letter.
I'll get that letter to you Monday.
Okay.
And then the principals you're gonna come up with names for a group. And we're gonna meet, where is it, the high school, or is it?
Wherever you came in.
district boardroom, is that what it's called? Or high school board conference room or boardroom?
Boardroom, people know it as the boardroom.
Yep.
And then once you get that schedule, once you get a list of names, maybe you can just give them to Lori, and then a couple days before,
And that's on Tuesday, the 22nd, right?
Tuesday the 22nd, yep. And then getting something in the paper about the, so
Do you have any kind of, canned thing you have people put out there for wording on there? You can send me?
yep, I'll find something. I will find something. Back to the essay questions. Is it okay if we do one on leadership style? And what was the other one we talked about at the beginning?
Good question. Small town, small district,
Oh, yeah.
something around that.
What are the challenges?
Yeah.
I think 2 essay questions is a good compromise. And it's not overbearing for a candidate.
And I'd hope that if they answered that leadership style, that they would elaborate as to where they picked it up from, where they got to exercise it. You know what I mean? Because I think we're all in agreement, that we need a strong leader in our district so we can kind of move where we need to go.
Okay, and I got the contracts back from you. I think that does it.
Well, if that is the case, we thank you for coming in, Mr. Fagan, again. And I will be entertaining a motion to adjourn.
Can we do that without Tom here?
That's my job.
Yeah, I know, but who's gonna second it?
That's true.
I will move to adjourn.
Well, second.
Properly moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Now,
Aye.
in some districts in the past, since there was one board member that was missing, if he would like, I would be willing to do a phone interview with him to ask him these questions so that he had a chance to give his input. So if somebody wants to check with him, or I could sit down with him that night, come up with focus groups too or something too.
Well, I can text him that,
Yeah,
I
I'm
guess.
sure he'd appreciate it.